Hello again everybody and welcome back to the deployment campaign in the DCS Ka-50 Black Shark. We're on mission number 3 and it's a strike against a stronghold of some sort, so let's get into the mission and see what this graphic here is all about. Now it's a 1500 start, casting the Ka-50. It is a loadout of 6 total Vickers guided missiles, or actually 12 total, 2 sets of the Vickers launchers and some rockets. Okay, that sounds good. Stronghold. This morning, an Interior Forces Special Operations Detachment encountered heavy resistance while approaching the village of Krasny Karachi. The first assault attempt failed, leading to a loss of 2 BTR-80 APCs and 15 troops KIA. It became clear that the separatists had prepared defensive positions in advance, constructing a number of reinforced firing positions and a communications network which helped to provide the effective defense of the village. Combat engagements have been ongoing in the village outskirts. In 0600, Command has decided to employ attack helicopters to destroy the firing positions in the Stronghold, which I'm guessing from the graphic up here, it's these bunkers, the hardened type structures that we see, but we'll look at that here in a bit. A forward air controller has been assigned to work with the Interior Forces Commander to provide targeting for the Army aviation helicopters, and the objective on the 19th of August. Flight 1 lead, 3rd OAE, will lead a pair of helicopters to the Krasny Karachi village area to suppress the enemy defensive positions. The forward air controller, call sign GROM-5, and I'll just make a note of that in my notes here, will provide targeting in coordination with the ground forces. Takeoff will be at 1500 from the Shapura FARP, that's a new one to me, in the town of Tebedstrah. Ingress into the combat area from the north along the Salt River, and landing will be back at the FARP, and the divert FARP will be Scala. That's the one that we were working off on the last mission on the northern edge of Saitec. Now the altitude will be 1400 to 2100 meters above sea level, which is pretty high. That's higher than we were last time at least. And the flight ready time will be 1430, takeoff at 1500. Combat payload, 12 Vickers HEGMs. I should have read this before trying to figure all that stuff out at the top. And 2 S8 FFAR pods and a full cannon load. The fuel load at the FARP will be 50%. That sounds just fine, especially the lower fuel load to make me a little bit lighter up here at the higher altitudes. Due to the overcast cloud deck, oh goodness, at 2,000 meters, take precautions for low visibility while crossing the ridge between Tebedra and the Salt River canyons. Enemy AAA and manpad threats are possible in the area. And of course, the usual warning that performance is impacted in mountainous regions. Now the cloud deck, 2,000 meters, and this is one of those rare, it seems, mission briefings that actually mentions what the weather will be. So it just drives me nuts when all that we get is the canned information down here at the bottom that really tells us nothing. But cloud deck at 2,000 and the altitude 14 to 2100. So at some point we're going to be in the clouds unless I can figure a way around that. Okay, threats, 3 total bunkers, and we've already seen the rest. So let's look through the briefing package that we have here. Okay, so taking off from the FARP Shapur, and you can see from the inlay map here that it's up way up at high altitude there, up further into the mountains, further than we've been so far. So it's a takeoff back down the valley, turn left over the terrain into another river valley, and then back up to the target area. Now let's have a look at, okay, so there's our FARP, and that's a view looking back. That would have to be looking back down, or actually back up the valley. So forward air controller position, pretty exposed position they have going there. And the target's out there in the distance, okay. And here's an even better look. So looking back up the valley, you can see the terrain, you can see the cloud deck there. So the targets are going to be the 2 bunkers or whatever the forward air controller calls in for me to take out. Okay, and thinking about the weapons load, yeah, a Vickers missile will be just the thing to take out one of those bunkers. Let me see if it had, yeah, I think the best view we get of the bunkers are going to be right here. So it's the, almost like an old World War I pillbox, just the big concrete structure with the gun slits in them to fire out of. So yeah, Vickers will punch right through that. Now, let's go to the mission planner and see if there was anything else that we could glean here. Now, where in the world am I? Now, okay, mission 1 was up here. Mission 2, I was flying out of the FARP right here, and I would have, yeah, I came down here and then turn left up the valley. So we're further up that same river, and we have another farm up here in the Tiberta town. So take off, left-hand turn up over the terrain, and just looking at the terrain down there at the bottom, about 7,100 feet is the altitude for that. So that might get me up into the clouds, or it might not. I mean, why in that case, if I were worried about the clouds, wouldn't I just come down here? I have a nice little passage right here that's going to take me up no more than about 5,700 feet or lower if I stay down. Yeah, that would put me like right there. It's not that far out of the way. We'll see how the clouds look. If they're going to have me flying through the cloud deck as I cross over the terrain, going over to the other valley, I'll take the long way around. It's not that far. It's another, 2-3 minutes maybe to get to that point. Now we get into the target area. So the bunkers, it looks like I have 3 total, 2 on the edge of town, and the 2 on the edge of town right there, or the first 2, northernmost, must have been the ones that I was looking at just then in the briefing package. Then I've got another one further into the town. And I've got, these are, am I not? Yeah, I am the red side on this. Why would I have... Okay, I've got a couple of Russian BTR-80 APCs out there in the town as well, so I don't know what the significance is of that, having those friendly vehicles. I'll try not to kill them. I don't know why they would be there in the first place, right next to a target that I'm going up to take. Maybe that'll be something that the JTAC explains to me as I get in there. So I'm going to be flying out to this point. Now, how far away are we talking here? So from there to out here, 5,000, say about a mile. Actually, yeah, pretty much exactly a mile away from the steer point. So if I just hold right here at the steer point, or even further back, I can employ the missiles from quite a distance, and I'll be able to just see straight down this valley into the target area. So I'll get no closer to it than steer point 3 in either case. So what else do we have? Yeah, more BTR-80s, and let me see. Yeah, just a whole bunch of APCs, so it looks like they're just waiting to move up, and then some infantry and some vehicles up there. So that's all that we're going to get from the briefing. That's about all that I would expect, or really all that I need at this point. Unless anything other than this occurs to me, I'll see you in the cockpit. Okay, I'll pick things up at the FARP and looking around. Boy, this is just beautiful. I don't fly in bad weather nearly often enough. I love the way that it looks here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some navigation going. I'm going to take off and turn left straight down the valley. That seems like it's going uphill, but I know that's downhill, and that's up into the higher Caucasus back there in that direction, but I was just looking to my right. Okay, so waypoint 1 is selected, and that's going to be at 13 kilometers all the way down. Let's see, anything else that I want to do down here? I'll wait to get the weapons configured. Yeah, everything down here is going to be just fine. Auto, short, HE, high. Okay, I'll take it. Now, that is it. Everything else is configured. Okay, let's go ahead and get airborne and make a left-hand turn. I'm going to not worry about calling ETC. I'm just going to plug in some collective. And boy, I can feel the altitude. Boy, this is a lot of collective I just put in there. Let's go gear up and take it on out here to the left and get heading into the target area. I assume I have a wingman. I kind of blew off a lot of the planning on this mission for some reason, but yeah, I'm definitely going to go in there with the wingman, I would imagine. And come to think of it, yeah, this may be the first mission where I didn't have a look at my weapons load. I'm kind of taking it on trust that I have exactly what I was briefed to have out there, the Vickers and the S8 rockets. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and go Master Arms, since we're taking off right into a potential combat area. And laser arm, I will go ahead and arm up the laser as well. With that, we can start to do some navigating and get into the target. Now, I haven't heard 2 call in, which means that I'm probably single ship on this mission, and I don't see anything on my map. So yeah, that's poor planning on my part. Hopefully the rest of it will go a lot better. So 114 kilometers per hour. This is about as fast as I really want to go. I don't want to push it the way that I usually do. It never fails, especially the beginning of a mission. I start to fly too fast and overspeed the aircraft. Okay, there's 2 on the rejoin. Okay, I spoke too soon. So, okay, I'll enjoy the view. This is beautiful. I'll be right back with you. And just thinking about the altitude and the weather conditions we're in, I'm going to enable my pitot heat. 2 switches, one for the static port and AOA sensors, and let's see, this is for the pitot ram air and the clock heater. Okay. Anti-ice? Rotor anti-ice? Yes, absolutely. That'll cost me a little bit of performance, but especially as we get up here into the clouds, it just seems damp, and it seems like it just feels cold, although I know that it really isn't. But yeah, once we get up into the clouds, I'll be glad that I did that later. Although it does cost me a little bit of performance, but I'll be just fine. I've got a little bit of performance in the aircraft to spare. So, yep, 8 kilometers to the turn to the left. Now, thinking about the left-hand turn, I think if I do it right here, which I think is where we're going to do it, I think I'll be able to get over the terrain and do it without getting up into the cloud deck. If it looks like I'm going to get up into the cloud deck, I can just take it out here, and then once I'm past this ridge, I have another, do I not? Yeah, there's that ridge. Actually, no, there's the furthest ridge, the one that I was looking at, the furthest one out there. With the other one little jut out right there. I can just take a left, and it's just then a straight shot back down. So if it looks like I'm getting up into the clouds, that's exactly what I'll do. As I hear 2 forming up out there off of my left, let me go ahead and give good old 2 a formation call. I'll have him go flight formation, go trail, please. That seemed to work out pretty well last time. I think I might have overdone it. I turned down the radio, like the radio communications. I think I did it, yeah, because it was just kind of overwhelming in one of the aircraft I was doing. I think it might have been the BF-109, but I think I might have overdone it, so as things come up, it's in Russian, so it doesn't really matter, but as radio calls come up, I'll repeat them if there's something important. And as I continue out here, since I won't have to get over this ridge in either case, I've been maintaining a steady climb on the aircraft, and I don't know what it is, but I just find it easier to just use the analog gauge as opposed to the HUD when it comes to, I mean, granted, I have the number right there, but I still find myself just looking down here, and I think I just have a little bit more fidelity out of the steam gauge. And can tell, okay, yeah, I know that I'm up at 1 meter per second, but then I can just glance down there and see it all the same. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to be, yeah, one more ridge over, and I don't know. I'll take it over the top here in either case. but I will put in just a touch more collective now. I'm just looking at the gauge over here, seeing how far up I want to take it. Not well, not too much further. I think that's about it. I forget exactly what the 3 little tick marks mean. CMT, but I know high is bad, and you can get into a bad situation if you go up too high. But yeah, as long as you keep your speed up, and as long as you don't put too much power in. I mean, I've got the collective, like, well, I can't really tell from here, but I've got it further up now than I've had it in any of the other missions so far, so I'm not worried about it. But then again, I am kind of worried about it as I begin my left-hand turn to come over to the steer point, and 2 is in position behind me. So yeah, this'll, yeah, so I picked up 3 meters per second on the climb. And I can, yeah, look down there to the gauge as well and see that. And yeah, this'll take me on over just fine, no sweat.